Two monks, an elder and a younger, walked in silence beneath the golden dawn. Their journey wound through misty forests and winding trails, where the soft crunch of sand echoed beneath their bare feet. Both followed a strict vow: no indulgence, no attachment, and no contact with women. As the sun rose higher, they reached the bank of a wide river. Rain from the mountains had swelled its current, turning it into a torrent of rushing brown water. The younger monk looked uneasy. Their robes were simple, and the crossing was treacherous. Just then, a young woman appeared, dressed in fine silks, her face pale with fear. She could not cross alone, and the bridge had been swept away. She clasped her hands in desperation. "Please," she begged, "can one of you carry me across? I must reach the village before nightfall." The younger monk froze. The precepts forbade such contact. He turned to the elder monk, expecting him to refuse. But without a word, the elder smiled gently, lifted the woman onto his back, and stepped into the roaring current. The younger monk watched in stunned silence as the elder waded across, steady and calm. When they reached the far bank, the elder set the woman down carefully. She bowed deeply, whispering her thanks before vanishing down the path. The elder adjusted his robes and resumed walking, as if nothing had happened. The younger monk followed, troubled and silent, a storm brewing in his heart. Hours passed. The forest grew quiet except for the chirping of cicadas and the rustle of leaves. Yet, in the younger monk's mind, the scene at the river replayed again and again. He could not believe what he had seen. His elder, touching a woman, carrying her across the river. The very act contradicted everything they were taught. At last, unable to contain himself, he spoke. "Master," he said hesitantly, "we took vows to avoid contact with women. How could you carry her on your back?" The elder monk glanced at him, his face serene as the setting sun. "Brother," he replied softly, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" The words struck the younger monk like thunder. He stopped walking. For a moment, he didn't understand. Then it dawned on him. The woman was no longer on the elder's back. She was on his mind. All this time, the elder had moved on, free and unburdened. But the younger monk had been dragging her image, her presence, and his judgment in his thoughts. He had carried her far longer than his teacher ever did. In that instant, the younger monk felt something inside him loosen, a chain of self-righteousness, perhaps, or the illusion of purity that hid pride within. The elder kept walking, calm and present. The younger monk followed, a little wiser now, though still humbled by the depth of the lesson he had just received. That night, they reached a quiet monastery by a lotus pond. The elder lit a small lamp, its flame flickering gently in the darkness. The younger monk could not sleep. The elder's words echoed in his mind. "Why are you still carrying her?" He realized that though the body may obey rules, the mind is harder to discipline. The true river they must cross was not made of water. It was made of thought, attachment, and judgment. He sat beneath a banyan tree, listening to the croaking of frogs. For the first time, he saw how restless his mind was, how quickly it clung to right and wrong, to pride and fear. When the elder joined him, the younger monk bowed deeply. "Master," he whispered, "I now see the river I must cross is within me." The elder smiled. "Yes, and every time you cling, to rules, to anger, to the past, the current pulls you away from peace." The night deepened. The moon rose high, casting silver light over the pond. The young monk watched the ripples shimmer and fade, just like thoughts, appearing, vanishing, leaving no trace. In that silence, he understood. Letting go isn't about breaking vows. It's about freeing the heart from what it holds too tightly. Days later, as they continued their pilgrimage, the younger monk reflected deeply on the meaning of discipline. He had believed that purity meant strictness, that holiness was found in following every rule to perfection. But the elder's action had shattered that illusion. Was compassion not greater than ritual? Was kindness not the heart of every precept? When they passed a village, the monk saw a farmer struggling to pull his ox from the mud. Without hesitation, the elder waded in to help, his robe stained and soaked. Again, the younger monk watched, and this time he smiled. He realized that the elder's discipline was not cold or rigid. It was alive. It flowed like water, flexible, responsive, and kind. As they rested beneath a tree, the younger monk asked, "Master, how do you keep your vows while helping others so freely?" The elder replied, "Vows are like a boat to cross the river of ignorance. But once you reach the shore, you must know when to step out. If you cling to the boat, it becomes your burden." The younger monk bowed, his heart lighter than ever. True discipline, he realized, was not about restraint alone. It was about balance, wisdom, and love. Weeks passed, and the memory of that woman at the river became a story shared among students of the path. Yet, for the younger monk, it was more than a parable. It was a mirror reflecting his own clinging mind. He began noticing how often he carried unseen burdens, a harsh word from a villager, a mistake he made during meditation, even a craving for praise. Every burden was another woman he carried, unseen yet heavy. One morning, as he swept the monastery courtyard, he imagined laying them all down, one by one. The relief was immediate, as if fresh air had entered his soul. The elder watched quietly, then said, "Letting go is not forgetting. It's choosing peace over pain." The younger monk nodded. He finally understood why the elder had smiled that day by the river. Letting go wasn't an act of weakness, it was strength in its purest form. As the wind rustled the bamboo leaves, he whispered to himself, "I carried so much for so long, and all I ever needed was to put it down." Months later, they returned to the same riverbank. The water was calm now, clear and shallow. Birds sang on the branches above. The younger monk smiled at the memory of that day. The panic, the judgment, the realization. He knelt by the water, cupping his hands to drink. "Master," he said softly, "I used to see this river as a test. Now I see it as a teacher." The elder chuckled. "Every river teaches us something. Some lessons you cross once. Others you cross again and again until your heart truly understands." The younger monk watched the water flow. No wave tried to hold another. Each moved freely, surrendering to the current. He thought of all the things people cling to: anger, fear, pride, regret, and how those very attachments keep them from moving with life's flow. As the elder rose to continue their journey, the younger monk felt a stillness in his heart, a peace that came not from control, but from release. During a long meditation retreat, the younger monk faced his mind directly. At first, he was overwhelmed by its noise. Memories, doubts, desires, regrets. Each thought was another woman crossing the river of his awareness. He smiled at the irony. Even in stillness, he was still carrying something. But slowly, as he breathed and let each thought pass, he saw the truth. His mind was not the river. It was the sky, vast and unbound. The thoughts were just clouds drifting by. When he opened his eyes, the elder was sitting nearby, watching the sunset. The younger monk bowed. "Master, I think I finally understand. We don't carry people or moments. We only carry our thoughts of them." The elder smiled. "And when we stop clinging to those thoughts, everything becomes light." That night, the younger monk meditated with a heart as clear as moonlight. For the first time, the world felt weightless. Years later, the younger monk, now a teacher himself, shared the story of the river with his own disciples. Many were puzzled. "Master," one asked, "how can touching a woman be an act of compassion, not a violation?" He replied gently, "When your mind is pure, no act can stain it. But when your mind clings, even silence becomes sin." The students listened in awe. He continued, "The elder monk carried her across the river. I carried her in my mind for miles. Who broke the vow more, the one who acted out of compassion or the one who judged out of pride?" A hush filled the hall. Then he said, "Remember this. Compassion and wisdom must walk together. Rules are the path, but love is the destination." From that day, the story spread far beyond the monastery, carried by travelers, merchants, and pilgrims who told it by firelight across kingdoms. Each listener took from it what their heart needed most: a reminder to let go, forgive, and live lightly. As the years passed, the story of the monks became timeless, retold in temples, whispered in villages, even written in scrolls. But beyond the words lay a truth deeper than any moral: that every person carries something across the river of life. Some carry regret, some carry pride, some carry love that has turned into longing. The river is the same for all, the crossing inevitable. But peace belongs only to those who know when to let go. On his final journey, the younger monk, now old and serene, returned once more to that sacred river. He smiled at the gentle flow. "How many lifetimes have I crossed you, dear river?" he murmured. A breeze rippled the surface, as if answering, "As many as it takes to learn to let go." He bowed, And in the reflection of the water, he saw not his face, but the calm smile of his old master, the one who had first carried the woman across. The story of the two monks endures because it speaks to everyone. Not about monks or women, but about the burdens we all carry. We hold grudges from years ago. We replay mistakes, cling to guilt, and judge others for what we don't understand. But life keeps moving, like a river. The question is not whether we will face the current, but whether we'll cross it with grace. Sometimes, compassion demands breaking a rule. Sometimes wisdom means releasing judgment. And always, peace begins the moment we set our burdens down. As the Buddha once taught, let go of what was, let go of what will be. Rest in the present, and you will find freedom. So the next time your mind clings to something, a past hurt, an unfair word, a fear of failure, remember the elder monk's smile and ask yourself, am I still carrying her? Then breathe, smile, and step forward, lighter than before.